Hi there! Today we will learn how to use SEOZoom newest Editorial Assistant that we can find here within the Editorial Tools area. The Editorial Assistant is a complete editor that allows us to combine editorial tools with a whole range of knowledge coming directly from Google. But first, let me clarify. Writing winning content that works, that is useful to both users and Google, starts first and foremost with the knowledge we have to develop on the topic at hand. Writing is a part of the creativity with which we approach the topic, so these tools are not at all an actual substitute for studying and learning more about it. Of course, however, they could provide us with a whole range of information to help us understand whether we are matching the search intent or not, or who is winning within the top 10, so to learn as much as possible from the other results that are already online. So we should always try to blend everything in a virtuous path, combining skills, strategy, creativity, and the data offered by SEOZoom. This is the dashboard as it stands. We have the left side dedicated to project articles, should we decide to categorize the articles by project, and a summary screen on the right showing the creation date of the article, its main keyword, its title and status, if it has been published or is still a draft, the word count, and some general information with respect to the total score that has been assigned by the tool, divided into subscores for the title, description, and the actual article. We can start to create a new article by simply clicking on Write New Article. We then enter our main keyword, and we can also decide to support ourselves with secondary keywords as well. Once we're done, we click Save. The editor will then open for us, already processing a whole range of useful data in absolutely real time that will help us write in a detailed, accurate, and above all relevant way with respect to what Google somehow expects to find within our content. But let's look at an article that has been already completed. This is the editor where we can go and write our text, while these up here are the scores that gradually update as we are writing. Our editorial assistant can help us organize ideas and create content that is useful and well optimized, exactly because we have suggestions in an actual editor that allows us to write in a more focused and SEO-oriented way our text. We can start here from the top, where we can go and fill in the title tags and meta descriptions, with the help of these two icons that will show us the title tags and meta description of our competitors in top 10. Very useful as a source of inspiration and comparison, keeping in mind that our snippet has to stand out in order to win the user's click, but also studying what is actually working in SERP right now, what Google is rewarding with a place in the top 10. Scrolling back down, we find a whole list of possible optimizations, best practices to follow when we go to create content. Our suggestions follow the color code of red, yellow, green, so they are very intuitive for us to follow. Obviously, depending on what we are writing about or the goal we have, some points might be more important than others. However, having a checklist to follow could be a great place to start. But the really interesting parts are the ones going next. For example, in topics, SEOZoom automatically processes all the main topics that relate to our main one. Here, if we want to be comprehensive and relevant on the topic of bounce rate, we should certainly also talk about this whole set of related and relevant terms. We also highlighted how the competitors use this kind of information. Here, for example, 7 competitors out of 10 use the term definition within their texts, but we did not. Could it be useful for us to also enter a small paragraph about the definition of bounce rate? Food for thoughts. It could be important to have a trail to follow, to try to align to what our competition is doing. Of course, replicating the strategy is not always the ideal thing to do. However, we could draw on a range of information that we feel is the most strategic. In the same spirit, looking at the percentages, it does not mathematically mean that if a term has been used, we should also use it, and if it has not been used, it should be ignored. In some cases, terms that have not been used by our competitors might actually be hiding an opportunity for us to perhaps make some strategic internal linking activities, or to take it as an opportunity that other competitors have not pursued and that we might seize before them. The different topics are then developed in terms of actual keywords. So here we have a macro list of keywords that are part of the search intent of bounce rate that we can also browse through the fundamental, recommended, optional, and additional tabs. As we write our text, just like the topics, we can keep track of the percentage of use by competitors and how and if we are using them. As we already said so many times though, it is never a matter of repeating the same keywords over and over again or using absolutely every single keywords offered, but to rather work on creating a content using synonyms, relevant terms, and most of all, a content that can fully answer the user's search intent. And that is exactly why our next tab is so great, the frequently asked questions. Collected here are all the top questions provided within Google's People Also Asked panels. So just imagine how strategic it can be to already have the questions that our users ask most often that we could include in our text to perhaps enrich a paragraph or to create a part completely dedicated to final questions. This way, we can both try to rank with all the keywords we studied and be the answers that Google provides as position 0 or within the People Also Asked panel. Lastly, we can look at the Correlated tab. Here are all the related in-depth topics that we can either decide to plan for by writing a new dedicated content, or if we already covered the suggested topic, to provide an internal link within the text we are currently creating. In SEOZoom new Editorial Assistant, it is also possible to access synonyms and therefore enter the terms we want to study and have a whole series of synonyms in the sidebar, so to be able to also use increasingly varied and accurate terms, and even get help by directly choosing free-to-use images to include in our text. We can choose between horizontal, vertical, or square images. We enter the term, click on search, and here we are presented with free images that we can either download or directly embed within the Editorial Assistant. Or we can also embed videos directly from YouTube. The main editor obviously has all the formatting buttons, so we can create an already formatted document. And we can then decide, once the text is complete, whether to save it in HTML, a Word document, or a PDF. But we can also choose to see the source code to directly copy and paste it within our website. In the end, down the bottom left, we can save the article as a draft, completed, or as published, just to keep track of the activities we are carrying out. Or we can choose to save the content within our editorial plan, the platform within the platform that allows us to track and monitor over time not only the content that we write, but also what the rest of the editorial team is completing. Perfect for those of us who are using SEOZoom and play a coordinating role, perhaps within a team of copywriters. I'm sure the Editorial Assistant will win you over. Be sure to spend some time learning all the tips and tricks and then take right off. Thanks for watching and see you on the next video.